to episode 27 of the Seventh Rounders. Today we are brought to you by foot cream you'd use for athlete's foot. I had a little issue. It started last Thursday. Potential ringworm scenario on my hand. I held off, hoping it would go away. It hasn't. So today I reached out to the doctor, Mrs. Powers, and she said, that little cream, if you got athlete's foot, rub a little of that on there, cover it up, it should go away. So it's between ringworm and what's the dry skin condition called?
Eczema.
Eczema. That's what I'm between. I don't know which one it is. So place your bets. It's either one. It's a little dry circle on my hand. Don't know how I got it. Maybe just not showering enough or something. But it happens to the best of us.
It's quite the way to start episode 26, Chad.
27.
27. It's quite the way. Wow, dude, time's flying. As you
John's
can see.
already lying. We've barely started. We're a minute 10 in. John's lying.
You know why I'm lying, dude? I am just not. I am not in the right emotional state. I've been compromised for the taping of this episode. Finished Stranger Things. Cried a cute little bit. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to own it.
You're a man's man. You'll admit it.
Hand up. I teared up a bit. I did. That's an understatement too.
See, Billy's not that emotional. Like, I don't really give a crap about Billy.
Now listen. No spoilers. That wasn't really a spoiler. That was just an emotional opinion towards a character. But no spoilers yet.
No, we're spoiling. Billy dies.
We're not. No.
Hopper's dead.
AJ, bleep that out. Bleep that out. Yeah, he's gonna bleep that out. Anyway, so I'm emotionally compromised. Just expect, a handful of shakeups here.
See, I want to propose the question: where do you rank Stranger Things all time as a television series?
2.
Wow.
Dare I ask what one is? Yeah, I was gonna guess.
Wow.
And I watched The Office when that thing came out on TV back in like 2007. I don't even remember when the first season was. Watched it on the couch every, I believe it was Thursday nights on NBC. It was with like 30 Rock. I'm an OG Office. Probably seen it 6 or 7 times through now.
So let's do top 3 characters in Stranger Things, all of us.
If Elle's not in your top 3, that you're just an idiot. Number 1. How do you not love Nancy? I mean, one of my biggest television crushes ever.
Yeah.
She looks phenomenal.
She just has the cutest nose I've ever seen. Like, I just want to do the thing where you pretend like a little kid. You pretend to take their nose and have it between your fingers. She has the cutest gosh damn nose I've ever seen.
All right, if any girls are listening to this trying to get married to Chad, you might want to go see a plastic surgeon about getting your nose fixed up. And then, I love Dustin. He's got to be my number 3 character. You know who I don't like Michael. I think he's such a little prick.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything. He gets the shit beat out of him every single time.
I think I agree. I love that list. That's a great list. I'll switch it up for just to be different. Hopper's my favorite. I mean, he is. Yeah, are we just leaving 11 out? Because she'd probably be number 1, obviously. But
well, I put her at my number 1 just because she's the GOAT. But
all right, I'll be different. I feel like she's just on her own. She's on a different level,
Well, she is the TV
That's like putting
show.
Michael Scott. It's like putting Michael Scott as your number 1. It's like, that's obvious. So I'll say Hopper, Steve, and Dustin are my top 3.
Steve, very underrated.
I love Steve, dude. It's because you had to grow into him, dude. You had to grow into him. You hated him at first. Everyone hated him at first.
And now he's scooping ice cream, saving the world.
Incredible, dude.
A sleeper that you two didn't mention, Max. I really like Max.
Yeah.
The little redhead.
Yeah, she's pretty dope.
Yeah. Well,
great show. I would also have to rank it in my top 3. I think Game of Thrones might be one of the few TV shows I have ahead of it. Disclaimer, I have not seen The Office all the way through. It's on my to-do list. I'm going to get there.
Joyce is really annoying, I will say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you get it. She's like, I like the bald guy, bald eagle, dude. I like him a lot. And I really love Smirnov. Smirnov actually could have been my favorite for a few episodes there. I love that motherfucker. That Russian son of a bitch, dude. I love him. I hate it. I mean, I love him.
We won't get too much into it, but he's a nice character. I liked him as well.
The Barnes move. Okay. So I'm not going to go in and say where you can find us because John almost decapitated me after I did that last episode. So that's over with. But I will say, check out the website. We have articles going up every week. So if you're looking for a little more content not related to the podcast, take a look there. We got stuff not just on sports, but a little entertainment. We're going to have an article up on Stranger Things in the coming days. So if you have a chance, lunch break, just need a break during the long work day, jump on over there, take a gander. But let's get into, have we chatted since the Westbrook trade?
I don't believe we have.
That was Thursday night when I was drinking a few sodas at the bar. Then we repeated the trade like 25 times. Every time it flashed breaking news on the ticker, we just screamed, "Oh my God, Russell Westbrook's going to the Rockets." People probably didn't love it, actually.
That's what adult beverages will do to you.
Yeah.
You just forget things.
Let's start with Connor.
Picks, dude.
Yeah, let's start with Connor, a Westbrook fan, longtime Westbrook fan. Give me your thoughts on that deal.
I mean, I think it's honestly a win-win for both teams. You look at Houston, it was obvious that there was some problems between CP3 and Harden. It looked like he was going to be out anyways. So you move him for, I don't think it's an overstatement to say Westbrook's a top 5-10 point guard in the league right now, and arguably one of the most exciting players in the league. So you move him for him. And I mean, him and Harden have played together before, so I'm actually way more optimistic than your average fan about them working out together. I don't think it'll be an issue. I think they both wanted to play together. I think Westbrook has the ability to play off the ball if he has to. We'll definitely get Harden the ball. And then in terms of the Thunder, they were clearly in a rebuild. So why not pick up a guy like CP3 as well as a couple draft picks, obviously with the intention of moving CP3 either now or at the deadline. Really think it works out for both teams. Worst case scenario, the Rockets lose in the Western Conference playoffs again, which they would have anyways. So I don't really see a problem with it on either end. I actually listened to Mike D'Antoni. He was on Woj's podcast yesterday talking about the trade, and he actually said with his experience coaching the Olympic team that if two star players want to play together, they'll kind of figure it out and make it work. And I truly believe Harden and Westbrook want to play together. The one thing I will say is I'm disappointed Kevin Durant's not playing on the Warriors next year because I think that Rockets-Warriors series would have gotten heated. I think Westbrook would have been like throwing punches, Harden's going off. That would have been must-watch TV for me. With that being said, I don't think the Rockets win the Western Conference, regardless.
Do you think they try and deal Capella at the deadline for another, let's say, elite score? Because it's no secret that they were trying to deal Capella throughout this offseason. Clearly, they're of the mindset that centers are not going to get you far in this NBA landscape. So do you see them trying to deal a Capella for maybe like a Kevin Love or something like that?
I don't think so, just because I think the idea was they're either going to move CP3 or they're going to move their other pieces. And I think since they moved CP3 and got Westbrook, you see how well Westbrook plays with Steven Adams in OKC. So I think he needs that big man that can roll to the hoop and catch lobs, set good screens, run the floor. So I think at this point, their roster is pretty much set. With that being said, if the first half of the year is an absolute disaster, then I think they're probably trying to move almost everyone except for Harden. But I think their roster is pretty much finalized for the time being. I don't even know if they're a top 3 team in the West, though.
I was just going to ask, do you think, because we did the top 4 teams last week, would you put them in for, none of us had them in there. Would you guys put them in? I wouldn't yet. No. Honestly.
Well, I mean, I was looking today. The Clippers have a combined 11-time all-first NBA defensive team players on that team. there's no question in my mind they're the best team in the West right now. The Lakers did a very good job of filling that roster after AD and LeBron, so I would easily put them at number 2. And part of me thinks that the Nuggets, Jazz, and Trailblazers could all still be better than the Rockets, just because of the young cores they have there. And
I think they all are.
People are sleeping on the Warriors still, but like they're gonna be in it regardless.
Do you see the Warriors owner his comments essentially saying we wouldn't have signed what's it, D'Angelo Russell?
Yeah.
If they had the intent of flipping him immediately.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, what do you expect the GM to say? He can't come out and just say, hey, we're going to move him as soon as Klay Thompson comes back. So I think part of that's a bit of a smokescreen, although I don't think they're as eager to trade Russell as the media has been reporting. You know, he got traded, and the media immediately said, oh, he's getting traded as soon as Klay comes back, which I don't think is the case. I would like to see Curry, Russell, and Klay on the court all at the same time. I mean, Klay's tall enough to play. Klay's tall enough to play at the 3, so
that would be exciting. That reminds me of back in the day, in the 2K days, me and Mike Rodriguez rivalry, and I used the Suns. It was like the 2012 Suns. They had Dragic, Eric Bledsoe, and Isaiah Thomas. Deadly threesome of guards.
Yeah,
so that's what that reminds me of. You know, obviously maybe a little bit better in real life, this one, but I mean,
did they still have the Polish? Did they still have the Polish hammer, Marcin Gortat? Was he still on the Suns team? The Polish hammer?
Yeah, did I say him?
He was a great 2K player. No, you
can't remember actually. No, I think it was when Plumlee was the center. It's probably just after he got traded, like that game. Wild stuff.
So speaking of 2K, we had some video game ratings come out, both Madden and 2K. Anything stick out for you guys for either of those games that you wanted to hit on?
All I know is the Madden ratings. I know Connor's going to get into it a little bit more. The Madden ratings are real harsh, though. I felt like, and there was a lot of flack. Like, I think Mitch Trubisky was a 75, and people were losing their minds.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I don't like what Madden did is you have to stay consistent, right? So I've seen already like 5 to 10 players that they're not elite per se, but they're in the upper tier of better at their position. And these guys have worse ratings than they did last year. Mm-hmm. While at the same time, Madden gave out, I believe, a record number of 99 overalls. So I really don't understand what they're doing. It seems like they just like basically fucked over all the skilled position players, and then they juiced up the linemen, which I don't like at all. I mean, it makes no sense. Good point.
Chad, I think the worst one that I saw has been Xavier Howard in 82. He's the top 5 corner in the league. They gave him an 82.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk on corners. Richard Sherman's a 93. The dude can't even backpedal anymore.
Yeah.
What is that? He's actually bad now.
Pretty bad. He's bad. He's a 93.
He's a 93 overall. He's higher than Patrick Peterson.
Howard's an 82.
That's in, like, I don't know. Listen, I have nothing against DeAndre Hopkins, and he's probably the best receiver in the NFL. You can make the case for Julio. I'm fine with that. But to have Hopkins at a 99, I think there's other guys that are more deserving of a 99 than Hopkins, personally.
Are you saying at other positions?
Yeah, not at wide receiver, but other positions. Like, did Von Miller have an off year? Like, I would put Von Miller at a 99 before I'd put DeAndre Hopkins at a 99.
I think it was just more so the Broncos were kind of bad last year, so Von didn't get
I'm not even mad about Hopkins 99. Guy didn't drop a pass. He was unbelievable.
He's like a poor man's Jerry Jeudy.
Other thing that really pissed me off, Earl Thomas played how many games last year? 3? 4?
Don't know.
And I think he's, 32, 33, something like that?
Yeah, he's old.
He's the highest rated safety at 95. The dude has one leg. What are we doing, Madden? What are we doing?
I was surprised. Well, I don't know if I was. So obviously, Gurley was the highest running back at, was he 96?
He was a 97, I believe.
97, and I'm fine with that. I just like all the stuff he's gotten this offseason with the arthritis, and I don't know, from a fantasy perspective, he's not in the first 2 rounds anymore. I'm surprised that health concern didn't go into it more. And I thought it would be Saquon and Zeke would be the top 2 overall running backs and maybe Gurley third. So that order kind of surprised.
I think just like the big name guys are just getting boosted as well.
No one's heard of Xavier Howard. Like going back to that one, I think that goes into it. I think like there's no
do the Madden Raiders do they is it a lack of research on their part? Or are they maybe unqualified? They might be unqualified.
Yeah, I'm directly calling out the Madden.
Can we file a class action lawsuit against Madden?
Yeah.
For these ratings?
The other thing the thing I wanted to say about Todd Gurley is it would not surprise me in the slightest if Madden put in some weird backdoor where like his injury rating's like a 20, but he's a 97 overall. So basically like anytime he gets hit, he's just injured. That would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, it's like in the show where like Max Scherzer's like a 97, but you do a dynasty mode and literally the next year he's down to an 83. I'm like, the dude's going to be good for the next till he's 40. Yeah, he's down to an 83 in 2019. So,
I can't relate to that. I don't have a PS.
The other rating that really upset me was Aaron Rodgers should not be, I believe he was the 6th
He's a
highest
90
rated quarterback. He's a
Marzullo
90 overall.
Marzullo's fired up.
Philip Rivers is the 2nd highest rated quarterback. I get he had a good year. The guy, I don't think he has won a playoff game in his career. And I get he had a good year, but I really don't think he's won a playoff game. And I think the past couple of years have been a product of him having one of the best rosters in the league to play with. So that really tweaked me out. And I love Matt Ryan, but the fact that Aaron Rodgers is only a point better than him is pretty blasphemous to Aaron Rodgers, honestly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Stupid.
All right, well,
moving
I
over
won't buy it again this year. I didn't buy it last year, so whatever.
See, with Madden, you got to wait until you get through that initial period of the season, and then they just cut the price because no one bought it, and then you just scoop it up for cheap. We've been good on that. I mean, me and you, I know we got some games for like $5, which is great.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
But moving over to 2K, I did see some ratings briefly. The highest 2 rated players are Kawhi and LeBron, which absolutely makes sense. In terms of where Madden messed up with ratings, I think 2K is always pretty solid with theirs, to be honest. The highest rated rookie was Zion Williamson at an 81. I believe Ja Morant was a 79. A crazy thing I did see, though, is when Giannis first came into 2K, I believe it was 2K14, he was rated as a 60 overall. Mm-hmm. And he's now up to a 94 or a 95, I believe.
It's development, man.
Speaking of Giannis, he came out recently and he said he's only at 60% of his full potential. I just want to hear your guys' thought on it. Like, what can he get that much better at besides a jump shot?
I mean, I said it last episode, I believe. I was like, this guy's going to have a monster off season, a monster next season. He'll get a lot better. It's going to happen. He's definitely not as potential.
You're telling me if
he has so much shooting he needs to work on.
He's at 90%. I don't think he's going to become that much better of a shooter.
If he's at 60% and he reaches 100%, I will tell you right now, he is the greatest NBA player of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Chad, you seem so enthused and excited. What's on your mind? Talk to us about it. How was your turning stone, a little golf last night? How was it? You went real late.
Well, I'll keep this story short. The first night, it's a bunch of like friends and family we go with, and there's.
I want to say, do you not realize Chad seems to party with dads a lot? It's like multiple times.
I like dads more than people my age, I think.
Continue.
I was what was it? Saturday afternoon match. These 2 guys that were playing with us essentially blacked out on the course. And I was playing against them, and we get to the 15th hole, and we like drive up there, and there's these woods you have to drive through, and like we lost those 2 guys, and we waited like 20 minutes, and they never came back. So we just finished playing, and we were in the parking lot having beers afterwards, and one of the guys walked back from the 15th hole, and the other guy came back on the cart, face all bloody, and he hit speed bumps and went flying out of the cart, So Turning Stone security came. They're like EMT. They're like bandage him up, and then he just fucking takes off running. I'm in the parking lot. I turn around. This guy's in flip flops, bandages on his face, just takes off running.
And you knew this guy?
Yeah, decently well. He's a cop. On top of it all, he's a cop.
Dude, how did you not tell us about this sooner? What the hell just happened? That sounds like a short movie that's submitted in like film festivals.
It was one of the most unique experiences I've ever been a part of.
What did Mr. Messier have to say on the matter?
He kind of loved it. He thought it was a riot. He's like, in the 20 years we've done this tournament, I've never had two guys like just disappear on the course. Like I got done and they're like, want our scorecard, and I'm like, literally the two guys we were playing disappeared after the 15th hole. Like I don't know where they went. I had no idea. Yeah. So
yeah, you got to keep an eye on him. He might be trying to take over the town. That's scary.
Wow, that's cool. Well, what'd you shoot?
84.
Wow.
Okay, it's not terrible. It's actually
How many mulligans?
Very good. Yeah.
No mulligans.
Wow, decent golfer.
Can you explain something to me as a kid who doesn't golf as much as I should? How do the handicaps work? I've always been curious on that.
A lot of golf courses. So the app you use, it's called GIN, and you put your scores in and it calculates your handicap. And you do it through the course. If you're a member at a golf course, they create a GIN account for you, and you just download the app. So essentially you go out, let's say you go and shoot a 90. You put that in. That's going to equate to an 18 handicap. You're 18 shots over par. Okay, so it's going to then go, so once you start putting scores in, it calculates your handicap based on the 20 most recent scores you've entered into the system. And from there, it doesn't calculate a handicap, it calculates an index. So let's say my index is a 15. That means when you go and play another course in a tournament, you're going to take the slope or the rating of the golf course you're playing, you're going to put it into your GIN system, and based on your index, it's going to calculate your handicap. So if you're playing a harder course and you're a 15 index, you could be a 17 or 18 handicap, and vice versa. If it's an easier course, you're going to go down. So that's long story short of how it works, but it takes your 20 most recent scores. Yeah.
And what's the idea behind that? It's trying to just like equalize the playing field, basically.
Yeah. So like in the thing we had guys that on average shoot 105. They're bad golfers. Then you have guys like my dad who's right around 75, 76 every time out. So it makes it fair. So when you play each other, if this really bad golfer is playing my dad, he's going to get 15 to 20 strokes in the match just to even it out, so that it's close, I guess.
Gotcha.
That is, I don't like that.
So your dad essentially has to,
like me, who are not as good at golf, when I shouldn't be rewarded for being bad.
So your dad essentially has to shoot like 20 strokes better to win the matchup.
Yeah. So let's say a guy's a 20 index. That means at the course we played, he was probably 25 handicap. My dad is a 6 index, which was a 7. So you do 25 less 7. So the guy he's playing, it gets 18 strokes. So that means each hole, 18 holes, each hole he gets a stroke. So say my dad pars it, the other guy bogeys it, it's a tie because that guy gets a 5 for a 4. So say he only gets 9 shots, it's the 9 hardest handicap holes on the course that he gets a stroke on.
Right.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
You got it, Connor? Because I'm just. Oof.
I did want to mention something. I had no intention of talking about this tonight. I actually didn't even know it was a thing, but I got an alert from the New York Times at about 30 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, however long we've been talking. And it's a story about how Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea, smuggled a $500,000 bulletproof Mercedes into North Korea that he now drives. And I just want to say, what the fuck? That is one of the most ridiculous stories I've ever heard.
You know, he's probably listening to this, so now they're on to us, Connor. Thanks, man. You know he's listening.
They've
He's
got some
eyes
little
everywhere.
minion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Connor,
just downloaded the Face app. He's probably in charge of it. He's access to all my pictures. He knows what I look like, knows where I live, and knows this is happening.
Speaking of
Connor,
the Face app, that app's hilarious.
yeah. I saw AJ Dillon favorited one of your tweets today.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's blasphemous that AJ Dillon, for those of you who don't know, is going to be a junior running back at BC. He's been a first-team All-ACC member the past 2 seasons, and he's going to be a junior. And the fact that Matt Miller, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
The fact that Matt Miller has the audacity to not include AJ Dillon in the talks of the next great pro running back is ridiculous. He's improved his passing game or his receiving game. He's one of the best rushers in the country. I get he was hurt last year, but come on, the disrespect. I was upset about that, but I was fired up that AJ Dillon favorited my tweet, of which I quote tweeted the article and said the disrespect, tagged him SMH, which means shaking my head for those of you that don't know. Then I said Heisman with 2 emojis, soon with the exclamation points. I was fired up to see that alert. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, my. It's a big day for you, man.
Who's the most famous person
you drink your water, get all rehydrated from your everything that's gone on over there?
Who's the most famous person you had favorite, retweet, or respond to one of your tweets?
Oh man, I haven't had like that many famous people.
I'll say the most notable is every time Stu Feiner gives me a like on a tweet 3 or 4 times now. He kind of loves me.
I'm trying to think. I feel like I've had an interaction with a more famous person than AJ Dillon, but I'm struggling to think about it right now.
I had Gurley and Phil Hughes responded to my tweets. So I gotta give it a tie.
What did you possibly say to Todd Gurley?
You're forgetting about Ocho Cinco entirely. You met the guy. He was on your plane.
Oh frig! I forgot about that. 3-way. It was 2016. It was a Duke-Syracuse game, and Gurley's a fan of Duke and Syracuse. So I said Cuse Nation tonight, and he responded like most definitely or something like that. I was I had a moment.
And that's where you were teleported into another dimension.
Yes.
Erotic. Very, very much so.
John,
all right, well, I have the key to success here. Who do you think?
You have the key to 20 questions, don't you?
I do. Do you want to do that first, or do you want to talk about the Open? What do you want to do, Chad? Balls in your court. Door A or door B?
Let's do 20 questions, door A.
Oh, you're feeling frisky? I'm feeling frisky. I have it already. I've been thinking about it for a few hours now, and I'm ready to go. Let me summon a pen real quick. Hold on.
What are the current standings? At 2-0-0, I believe.
Yeah, I got back to 0.
Yeah. I do have 2. I am in front. We're playing to 10, folks, if you had forgotten. And I am
not prepared.
I'm not prepared, but are you prepared? You guys can start going. I'm ready.
Connor, you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Is this person a male?
Yes.
Is this person an athlete?
Yes.
Does this person play a contact sport?
I'd say so.
Is this person that was a bad question.
Not really.
Is this person a football player?
No.
See, by the way he said that, I'm thinking either basketball or soccer. If he's referring to baseball as a contact sport, we're gonna have some issues here. Is he a professional basketball player?
No.
Professional basketball player?
Still no.
Is he African American?
Yeah.
Okay. Is he under the age of 25?
That's an excellent question, to which I will fire up, whisp the Google machine, and look that up.
This
is Mr. Oh, did I just give away? Blank over or under 25 years old? He is over 25 years old.
Shit.
That was the 7th question.
Is he a soccer player?
No. This is the 8th
Hockey
question.
player.
No. 9th question.
You know any other contact sports, Chad?
Dude, I don't know if he's adding baseball in there.
That'd be blasphemous if he is.
Is it a team sport?
No. First good question. That was the first good question. At the end of the round, Chad gets one huge.
Connor, it's got to be
Is
MMA.
it NASCAR?
Connor.
It is not NASCAR. That was his 11th. That was the 11th question. He kind of threw it away.
Connor. Is there fighting in this sport?
Yes. So that's, hold on, 1, 2, 12. You guys each have 2 left.
Is it... All right, so he said there is fighting, correct?
Yeah.
So we're down to 3 possible scenarios here. Is this sport... I'll just say, is it MMA?
Yeah.
All right. John's Bones Jones.
And Chad gets on the board.
Let's go.
Wow, good for you. That was really well done. That was well done. And it was looking like you guys were really fucked for a while there until Chad asked the team sport question.
Do you have any fun facts about John Bones Jones for us?
Rochester boy. Rochester boy.
Does anyone know where he's from in Rochester? I've always wondered that.
I think he's from the city. He lives in Ithaca still.
Wow. No wonder he's doing cocaine all the time.
Wow.
Probably low.
You know, he gets busted a lot, so it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Are there any big fights coming up?
Union Endicott High School. You know where that is?
I do, yeah.
Yep.
Does anyone know if there's any big fights coming up in the near future? I don't think there are. But
hell of a question. Still waiting for McGregor to friggin' do something. Someone big, dude. Someone everyone knows.
Isn't Pacquiao boxing soon?
He is, yeah. Let's see.
Is Pacquiao still like the governor of the Philippines or like some politician over there? Does anyone know?
Something. He's something. He's definitely got a few stars or something. He's fighting July 20th against Keith Thurman. That sounds like a backup running back.
I will be throwing money on that fight.
No, you gotta. And then there's not much in the way of MMA, unfortunately, for a bit here. There's actually Greg Hardy fights the exact same night on July 20th. Believe it or not, Greg Hardy, he's fighting Michael Vick, in fact. So that's a big matchup.
No, he's not.
I'm just playing. But the person in the matchup below, his name is James Vick, and I wanted to see if I could get you attached to the old line real quick.
That would have been great. Speaking of MMA, I don't know if we talked about this on our last episode. That dude that knocked out Ben Askren with that flying knee off the rip was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, John? That dude came out of nowhere.
Which one?
The dude who put his hands behind his back before the fight and then just charged Ben Askren, or however you say his name.
Yeah. That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fastest knockout, and I will be able to tell my grandkids that I bet on the guy who got knocked out faster than anyone in UFC history. Like 4 seconds. And he was like a minus 220 favorite. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
I want to walk us through your mental state when you...
John, give us an announcement. What was that segment called?
Give us a little comment.
Dude, the problem with that is one, it was so fast, and I actually was using my computer and it froze. So all I got was a text message come in. I think it was Austin Woodland. He goes, he killed him. John's gonna be pissed. That's all I saw. Computer comes back on, and the guy's sleeping on the carpet.
Oh god! All right, I'll do a live commentary. Dead. What are the two guys' names?
I don't even know how you say his name. Ben Askren.
You don't need.
It's not even worth it.
I'm gonna nip this one before you even get a chance. I'm worried. Just gonna preserve. I'm gonna preserve your intellect for this.
Transitioning before we get into the Open, I think we should take a minute and just, for those of you who don't know, a friend of ours, at least a friend of mine, Ryan Maloney, was unfortunate situation. He was injured last weekend. Not going to get into it, but it was a spinal cord injury, and he currently, I don't think, has feeling below his shoulders. So a very scary situation for a Victor alum, someone that we all knew fairly well. So if you know Ryan or have any interest in donating to help with medical costs and whatnot, you can donate on their GoFundMe page, which I have a link to in my Instagram bio. And then also the Erlins are coming out with shirts. You can email tderlan33@gmail.com. Again, that's TDIERLAN33@gmail.com. And
I actually have the GoFundMe page pulled up. It's just called Ryan's Recovery Fund. If you look that up, it was started by Cornell Lacrosse. And we've actually raised $203,602 of the $250,000 goal. Never surprises me how well, the Victor community, Rochester community are able to come together during tragedies. I feel like we've been having too many recently, just around the city, but we wish him a speedy recovery nonetheless. Just all around sad situation. Wouldn't want to wish that on my worst enemy. So hoping he can get back to at least a shell of his former self, and we wish him nothing but the best. Go donate, obviously, if you have a heart. Moving on though, from that, the NBA Summer League finished up last night. Nothing too notable about the Summer League, honestly. I just enjoy watching it because I enjoy watching basketball. There were a few standouts, though.
The biggest moment was the earthquake.
Yeah.
Canceling Zion and his knee for the rest of the tournament. So
I do want to talk about that. So obviously he played in the first game. It set viewership records because he was taking on RJ Barrett. I believe I saw some tickets were going for as much as $1,000. You had a host of NBA stars sitting courtside, and he gets a bruised knee, and they sit him out for the rest of the league of the summer. We all agree that this was just purely precautionary, right? We don't think it's anything serious.
Yeah.
And the other thing about Zion that's been going around, it's a lot of people have been saying he's overweight. I want to hear about that argument at least. Do we think he's overweight? Do we think it even matters? Is what it comes down to.
I don't think it'll matter because he's built like a semi-truck. So he can definitely get into shape quick enough for it to not be an issue. I just think, he's probably, it's like freshman 15, but it's like post-draft 15 for the big man. So
do you think he actually did he put on additional weight from when he was at Duke, or is he the same weight? It's more coming to light now.
So there hasn't been an official weight that's come out. People have speculated that he's up to as much as 310, which is ridiculous because he was 280 in college, which means I don't think he's put on that much weight, but I think he's added at least 5 to 10 pounds for sure, which I think is natural. Dude got drafted number 1 overall. I'm sure he's been enjoying his life
down in New Orleans eating that.
I did see a funny tweet from Kendrick Perkins today, who used to play in New Orleans, and he was saying how Zion's going to have to stay in his house because every time Kendrick used to go out in public, all the elderly woman would be like, "Hey baby, you want some crawfish? Hey baby, you want some of this?" And I can see that happening down in New Orleans. There's definitely a lot of good Southern Cajun food down there that could make you fat if you're not careful. Speaking of New Orleans,
thinking about food from like New Orleans, I've never been there, but just the thought of it, just seeing it in movies and stuff, it's like, oh, I need it. I really do.
I just think
can't
of
live without it
gumbo.
now.
I just think of gumbo off the bat and crawfish. I want to ask though, what city, if you were a professional athlete, which city would you most want to play in?
It's a great question. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. Chad, what do you think? Connor, do you have one in mind, or you just kind of,
I have a couple in mind, but I'm still thinking over.
I've got three: San Diego, Nashville, or Portland.
I was thinking Nashville. That would have been in my top choices for sure. Atlanta would be cool, I feel like.
Yeah.
If you don't get shot.
Where? Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can do that anywhere these days.
It's every city, dude.
Every city.
Would you play for the Panthers, John?
Miami, if it's the end of my career. Go down.
Would you play in Charlotte?
Sure. Charlotte's fun. Fun town.
John, we could do end of our careers, we could do, the Miami, and we could do a little modeling on the side because we're both devilishly handsome.
Yeah, absolutely. You know who else is devilishly handsome is Brooks Koepka. Do we think? What a segue. Oh my God. That just got me. Woo. Shake yourself off, Chad, from that one.
I got the goosebumps.
Is Koepka going to win? You see, he had the quote of the year potentially today. It's up in the top 5.
That was the quote of the year.
That was
awesome. Might have been the quote of the year, just in general.
Yeah, for our listeners that don't know, he's given I think just like a press conference after a practice round today. They basically asked him what the difference was between his performance in the major tournaments and your average Joe tournament that the PGA Tour has. He basically came out and said he only practices for the majors, which is one of the greatest quotes ever. He said directly, he said, "You see me play golf when you see me on TV," essentially. So he's a baller. He's an absolute baller. I mean, reminds me of AI back in the day. He's talking about practice and whatnot. And after he said that, I think I have to throw the house on him. I think he wins.
Yeah. Dude, he is so good and knows that he is so good. And now it's like, is talent really better than hard work? Now you got to wonder. The coaches preach it's always hard work, hard work, hard work. This guy doesn't care at all about the sport he plays at. And he is arguably the best on the planet. He only practices for the majors. And he's always in the top 10. It's clockwork.
So the Open Championships in Great Britain, correct, or England?
Northern Ireland.
So
rotates every year, Connor. I know you're still
Well, that's what I was about to ask. Is
rotates same course? Rotates between the select handful of courses every year.
Between Scotland, Northern Ireland, and it's not in England, right? I don't think.
I believe it is.
And England then. Yeah, those three.
So it's a UK tournament, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
And are any of the courses particularly harder than the others?
They're all very similar out when you're out there. They're all links courses that are usually right on the water, so it's a ton of wind, usually some weather, some rain, colder. So it favors the younger chaps that are more nimble.
This is the tournament where it's the weather versus the players, pretty much. Weather in the course versus the players more than any of the other ones. A lot of elements out there. If I was playing out there, I think I brought this up before, I would have to probably bring 2 or 3 boxes of golf balls. Genuinely. Just to feel confident I'll make it through the round.
Now I know some tournaments and courses favor, your long hitters versus your short game players. This tournament in particular, is there one group of players that's expected to do better than the others? Like you said, I'm trying to learn this whole golf thing. Not as in tune with it.
I think in general, the Open Championship favors European players. That's not always the case. And it's definitely you see those guys that were a lot of the Europeans have been over there now for a few weeks because they played in the Scottish Open and a couple other European tournaments that happened after the U.S. Open wrapped up. So I would say in general favors European guys. That's why McIlroy is now the favorite and not Koepka. I think the course is 7,300 yards. So it's right in line with the length of Bethpage and Augusta. It's longer than Pebble. So I think it helps younger Europeans. So the guys like Fleetwood, Jon Rahm,
McIlroy.
just to name a few. I think it hurts guys like Tiger. I think older guys, it's going to hurt just because it's going to be colder. And like we saw at Pebble when the weather was chilly, I think it takes a little while for those guys to get warmed up if they do at all.
Tom Watson he's in this one, right? Didn't we have a conversation about this? Tom Watson, he always seems to be just like in the Open. He's always in it until Sunday. So you're right about the age thing. He just doesn't have enough left in the tank for that fourth day. But that's a good take. It's a good take, Chad.
Now I'm gonna pull up the odds for the tournament.
And I already had it. It's Rory and Koepka are tied plus 650, I believe.
I see that.
And then Tiger's next at plus 1,100, which is mind-boggling because he's not going to win this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we should just touch on a couple of bets we like that are value. Oh, I see here that on my site, the field, so anyone that's not in here is listed at plus 300, which seems a little strange.
I don't know about
considering that it's not one of the top, like, 30 players or so.
Is a guy that I really like is Emiliano Grillo listed. What are his odds at? He's a guy that's finished the last couple of years, done really well in majors. Another European guy that's, I don't know how old he is, but he's a guy that I definitely like. Throw some money on him if you are indeed betting.
Now, Chad, your boy Xander Schauffele, is he American or is he European? With that name, I have no idea.
He's American.
Oh, he's at plus 1,800. Chad's other guy, are you a Justin Rose or a Justin Thomas guy?
I hate Justin Thomas. I like Justin Rose.
Justin Rose you can get at plus 2,000, which I think is pretty decent value considering he's an Englishman himself.
Yeah.
A bit on
Two
the
other
younger
guys
side.
I want to say. I really don't enjoy watching him, but Molinari is also plus 2,000. I feel like this is a tournament he might thrive in. And then Henrik Stenson's always around. He's plus 2,500. Another European. I believe he's Swedish. So
yeah, another guy to keep an eye on. I don't know what he's at. Matt Kuchar.
He's at plus 3,300 on my site.
Like Stenson, they're not long drivers of the golf ball, but really good with the 3-wood, the 5-wood, the long irons, the hybrids. That'll come into play here because there's plenty of holes where you don't have to hit driver off the tee. So I think that plays to the advantage of the Stensons and Kuchars of the world.
Are you surprised that Jordan Spieth's listed at plus 3,300? He's towards the lower end. I don't know his history in this tournament, but
he's won it, or has he won this? He won it once, I think.
Quite honestly, he's just really unexceptional right now. He's just not. He's just not playing as good as he did a few years back. You said best bets. I like Kuchar as well. For him to finish top 10, that's plus 310. That's a lot of value on that. Kuchar top 10 plus 310. And then Koepka's minus 140, and I feel like that's free money. I feel like if anything's free money, it's Koepka top 10. So
yeah.
When is the last major tournament he didn't finish top 10? It's been at least 5, right? Maybe 6. I don't even. He's played in what, eight
asked
total?
These questions, and I have absolutely no idea the answer. And then you have me scrambling. I'm running as fast as I can to Wikipedia to try to find this answer for you. I have no idea. What was your question though? Your second question?
I said that he's only played in what, 9 majors, tops, 8 majors.
His last not top 10 was the Open. He opened last year. He finished tied for 39th, but he actually has 2 top 10s there in his career. 2 years prior, tied for 6th, tied for 10th. So,
all right. So We have value on Kuchar top 10. We like Brooks top 10.
Mm-hmm.
We don't mind Justin Rose. We don't mind Kuchar winning the tournament. Is there any value in putting money on Rory as the favorite?
He kind of gives me a concussion.
I would be much more inclined to put Rory also top 10 at minus 150 than to win the tournament. I don't think he has it anymore, really. But You never know. I don't know.
Going to be a good tournament nonetheless. The boys will be doing another snake draft, taking 4 players apiece. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, I don't think this is a really tough time for sports. There's really nothing going on. It's dead middle of the summer. It's hot.
Baseball. I think we didn't talk about baseball once, but it's like the only thing going, but it's just really nothing going on. It's just the All-Star break.
Did we want to? We didn't talk about.
We already touched on Shane Bieber winning the MVP, which was just stupid. Just a boring
People are
All-Star
pissed
game.
about that. Yeah.
Any bold predictions for the second half? Any players, teams, anything in that note you guys want to hit on?
Yeah. Watch out for the Pirates. That's all I want to say.
I will say
very good offense.
Felipe. Do you think the Pirates? Do you think the Pirates trade Felipe Vasquez before the deadline?
Absolutely not. There's literally zero chance. There's a better chance of you getting signed by the Pirates than them trading Rivero this year.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
One bit of news that did come out recently. I know this because he's on my fantasy team, and I almost pulled my hair out. Luis Severino, who's been out the whole season, he came out and said he'd be happy to slide into the Yankees bullpen in order to expedite his return to the big leagues. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? You think there's any chance he actually goes to the bullpen?
If he doesn't go to the bullpen, I think he's not going to pitch this year. I don't see them starting him at all. I think at 25 and one of the elite arms still in the MLB, the Yankees won't risk it. So I see him as a 2 or 3 inning guy starting in August. I think come playoff time, he's going to be the guy that, you get in that game and CC gives his classic 4 innings. And then you have Severino come in for like the 5th and 6th. Then you go to the meat of that bullpen. I could definitely see that happening. I just think it's going to take too much time now to really get that arm strength all the way back up to him throwing 7-8 innings. So I could see him as that middle reliever, not a long reliever, but maybe 2-inning guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you think the Yankees are going to win it this year? Is it their year?
I think the Astros, and the Dodgers are pretty clear-cut favorites at this point.
Dodgers. Yeah. Do you think the Dodgers are going to pull little Buffalo Bills? Would this be their 4th straight if they go in there and lose?
I think it's their 3rd straight.
Yeah, they lost to Astros. It's getting 17 and yeah,
scary hours for them, dude. They got to do something soon.
They should have Seager back soon. Question with them is
he's back already. He is. He came back first game post All-Star break. Yeah.
They got Pollock back. The question with them though is their rotation. They've had like Ryu's been awesome, Kershaw's been awesome, Buehler's been awesome. If they can stay healthy, I could see them winning it. It's just Ryu's always hurt. Kershaw's shown a tendency to get hurt the last few years, and Buehler's young, so who knows what he'll do once he's up to that 150 inning threshold. Then you got some of those other guys that they've been using for spot starts and as long relievers, like Ross Stripling and Julio Urias. Yeah, Rich Hill could be out for the year. Yeah,
I think Ryu's going to regress a lot. They might need to. I think they're going to end up trading for a pitcher probably.
You guys.
So what pitchers are on the market then?
So the top ones are Bumgarner, Stroman, Robbie Ray from Arizona, and that Matthew Boyd from Detroit.
Oh, okay. And then obviously a big thing at the deadline is moving relievers. What closers are you guys expecting to see on the move? I know I have at least. I think I have two or three of them on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
So
Shane Green is gone.
Yeah, Shane Green's gone. You used to have Colome. He's going to be gone. Sergio Romo gone. Shane Green's an interesting case where I like, and from a fantasy perspective, I'd hold on to him because I think if he goes to, I don't have an example off the top of my head, but even like Milwaukee, I could see them keeping him in the closer role and moving Hader back to that 6th, 7th, and 8th inning guy.
He could also win the job in a place like Atlanta, for example.
Yeah,
Boston
or
needs a
Boston.
closer.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think Shane Green's a guy that could.
I think Colomé in that same boat.
Yeah,
he's been very good this year.
Yeah. There's one, and then that Will Smith from San Francisco, who's been elite. He's another guy. They said there's like 95% chance he's gone.
Dude, MLB trade deadline's always very exciting. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
The scariest.
I don't know when that is off the top of their head.
August
July 31st.
Or July 31st, yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see what Houston does because Houston has, I don't know what it is. They must have the best pitching coach ever because Verlander had 2 or 3 years of mediocrity. He goes to Houston and is back to one of the 3 best pitchers in the MLB. Garrett Cole was really good with Pittsburgh and went to a whole different level when he got traded to Houston. So if they get a guy like Matthew Boyd, like that could be scary.
Yeah. They're a good team.
Any big bats that are expected to be on the move at the break?
I could see, some of the like a Chin-Soo Choo. Maybe Jose Abreu, depending on how the White Sox continue this next month into the deadline. But not really a lot of big name guys. The only other one that I saw that is very far-fetched because he just got traded was JT Realmuto. So he just got traded to Philly. But from what I hear, if there is an opportunity where a DeGrom or a Syndergaard or a guy of that nature becomes available, that the Phillies wouldn't hesitate to move a Realmuto for a guy of that caliber. Highly unlikely.
The Mets definitely won't trade those pitchers in their division.
Well, Mets really screwed up not moving Zach Wheeler already. As I saw, he hit the the IL. He might be out for most of the rest of the year, which basically crushes any trade value he had. Other thing, speaking of the Phillies, I saw they got booed off the field last night, which that team is an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
And it very much reminds me of that Philadelphia Eagles team that loaded up on free agents. That's the year when they had Nnamdi Asomugha. They got all those guys who were expected to compete for the Super Bowl and just laid an absolute dud.
That's Philly,
honestly, kind of like the Vikings last year.
Yeah, a little bit like the
Vikings. Probably the best moment in sports when the Angels with the combined no-hitter after Tyler Skaggs' mom throws out the first pitch. That was something nice to wake up to.
Yeah.
West Coast game.
Let me so I actually took a picture of all the crazy stats that resulted from that game. Let me see if I can find these real quick. All right, so Tyler Skaggs' mother throws out the first pitch. As John said, Angels throw a combined no-hitter. Mike Trout hit a home run exactly 454 feet. Tyler Skaggs wore number 45. It was the 11th no-hitter in franchise history. Tyler Skaggs wore number 11 in high school. And the Angels scored 7 runs in the first and finished with 13 runs total. Tyler Skaggs' birthday, July 13th. 7/13.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous how that stuff works out.
Yep.
And then I was also reminded there after Jose Fernandez passed away a few years back. D. Gordon hits the longest home run of his career in the first at bat. Just
it's crazy.
This is the stuff that makes me wonder. Like, there's got to be something higher up out there, right? Like, I mean, you just can't script this stuff. I don't know. But that stuff like that. That's why we love sports. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we love it. That's something for the classroom boys to maybe touch on. They can. This is us passing them the baton as we're gonna sail off into the night here. We're sailing off tonight, boys. We're on a boat.
Come sail away with Alyssa. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen.